Do you know that we have suits inspired by the Singapore $1 coin? This is Mission Unite, no bullshit business. Hi, welcome to Mission Unite. Here, we uncover the no bullshit stories from successful individuals and ignite your dream to success. Today, our guest is Javin They. He is the founder of Common Suits, a premium bespoke suit brand that started just 2 weeks after his last school exam. And since then, he has expanded in the Southeast Asia region. Javin's journey is more than just about fashion. It is a story of resilience, facing challenges, and redefining success. Who would have thought that creating a bespoke suit could grow it to a giant while still exiting school? So in this episode, we will dive into his early days, the roadblock that he faced, and how he came back. And with that, hoping to inspire our young entrepreneurs out there. So do get ready for Javin. He is a true example of turning passion into purpose. Welcome, Javin, to our show.
Hi everyone, my name is Javin and I'm the founder of Common Suits.
So that's it, right? Can you share with our audience out there, right? What is Common Suits and how do you even started Common Suits?
So Common Suits is a premium bespoke label specializing in menswear, such as suits, trousers, shirts, and waistcoats. Of course, we also do casual wear, such as like linen shirts, shorts, chinos. We also venture into our ready-to-wear line, doing like ready-to-wear polos, crew necks, summer turtlenecks, and there's more coming in store.
Wow, that's actually quite a lot of things that you should have in line for a tailored shop. Because most people just do suits and that's it, right?
Yeah, but I think because we have to be adaptable to the market demand and also looking to how to grow the brand, the company into different tiers so that we can have a bigger funnel to invite more customers and increase our touch points.
Yeah. So share with us, what makes Common Suits so unique? You know, I think right now you are not just in Singapore, you've expanded into Philippines,
yes,
right?
correct.
And you have 2 more stores coming up, right?
That is right. So Tellison is right that we actually were moving to more regional right now. So we started in Singapore in 2014, 10 years ago. And 5 years ago, we had our first store in Manila. And then this year in October, November, we're actually going to open up in Bangkok and Jakarta. Yeah.
Wow.
So what makes us more unique? Perhaps I can share a bit more from the beginning what our brand values stand for, and how that guided us into the decision that we've made over the past 10 years.
Yes,
and
please share that story.
And then our vision for the next coming 10 years. So in 2014, after I graduated, actually no, in fact, before I graduated, I registered a company 2 weeks after my last paper.
2 weeks after your last paper?
I'm actually a finance and marketing grad. So I did not have any training in tailoring or fashion. But during my school days, I always had to wear like suits for presentations, because in my finance field, right? Or like internships or part-time jobs, interviews. And that sparked the interest and also the passion for dressing up nicely, because I always like the feeling of when you're in a suit, the kind of aura that or rather I feel not maybe others don't feel the same way when they look at me, but at least when I put it on, I feel like it's a set of armor. Yeah, is that aura?
It is. I mean, right now, right, just in front of our camera, the both of us, right, I feel totally underdressed with just this coat itself.
Don't say that.
And you look terrifically good, man.
Thank you. The camera has good light also. I mean, the setup has very good lighting also. So I was like kind of addicted to that feeling. Okay. So I was very looking forward to like each presentation, each interview, and every opportunity I could actually suit up.
Right.
Yeah. And then, so 2 weeks after my last paper, I was in Thailand actually with my friends for a graduation trip. And same thing, every Singaporean man would just go to a Thai tailor lah.
Yes, I mean
it's cheap, it's fast turnaround. It's like quite an SOP standard thing to do right after you graduate. As I was doing it, then I was thinking, wow, actually, maybe I could just learn how to measure lah, and go back to school and see if I could sell to some of my friends. Because a lot of my friends ask me, where do you get your suits? Where do I get my suits from? So I was just trying to learn on the spot. Just look at how the tailor was measuring me, or rather the customer service was measuring me. So I went back to Singapore, go to NUS, rented a booth for $25 a day. Yeah, so it was a very low startup cost lah. So $25 a day, and bought some mannequins on Carousel, put it up there, and dressed up the mannequins in some of my suits.
Your own suits?
Yeah, my own suits. So it wasn't a best fitting. It wasn't like a great visual merchandise kind of setup. It was a very raw setup. But we happened to get customers also. So it was definitely a profitable 2 days of exhibition. But then again,
and that 2 days you sold suits as well.
Yeah, we sold suits and shirts.
It was suits, but you collaborate with some tailor, or
also we found a partner, a manufacturing partner lah.
Right.
Yeah, in Thailand back then. But that was just the start of a nightmare, because I
like it that you call it a nightmare.
Yeah, because there were a lot of hiccups in terms of the QC and also the production timeline.
Right.
Like the fabric that you ordered turned out, like perhaps the customer ordered a white shirt, it came out to be a baby blue shirt. Or the measurements can be totally off. So there's a lot of salvation that needs to be done. And because of I was starting out, I wanted to make me more attractive at the pricing. So that there weren't much margins actually. Once you hit an alteration, that means basically everything's gone. Yeah,
right.
But we don't honor the alteration.
Yes.
Because to me, my values will be integrity, right? I have to uphold the reputation and integrity, and like no matter what field that I'll transit into, I feel that the most precious value will be your integrity, which you can't buy that with money.
I agree. Totally agree with that.
And which brings me to my reason why I named the brand Common Suits. So as a young boy, I've always looked up to very successful people, individuals, and I also now as a young boy, I came from a single parent family, so without a fatherly figure in the family, I always looked up to actually very successful individuals, and I found that there's a common set of like underlying values that they all share. So this shared values, right, that resonates a lot with me actually will be like integrity, humility, pursuit of excellence. They always have a high standard of things in life,
right?
Like and respect for people. So these values, I feel that I really would want that to be part of the foundation of my brand, and I would want a brand that goes beyond just name, but I want a brand that actually becomes a symbol. A symbol of what? A symbol of like elegance, a symbol of all this common set of values, a symbol of like a continuous effort to wanna strive to improve and stick to this same common set of values. And that's why I hope that the brand becomes a reminder as well, to remind us to strive for the common set of values that all these successful people share, and hence Common Suits.
Which I'm very, very happy to say that I think Common Suits has hit all those objectives. Right.
The values, we try, I mean, it's a continuous effort. It's never going to be like, hit it and full stop, right? It's a continuous journey. And the common actually represents common denominator.
Right.
Yeah, but not just like common as in like for everyone. Because it's quite ironic. A lot of our customers, like our high profile customers, will be like, Javin, you are doing a good job. Like your products are like using the best quality in the fabric in the market.
Yeah.
You buy from the best fabric manufacturer in the world, and then you pay so much attention to detail, and then you name it Common Suits. You know, there's like a big gap.
Ironic in a way.
Yeah.
But
so when I explain in this manner, I say like humility is something that I grew up with. Coming from a humble background. I don't want to name it something that I'm not.
Yes.
That's not me. Yeah, I could name it like Atta Suits. I could name it like give it some Italian name or what.
Yeah.
But that's not how I grew up in a HDB flat. I grew up from grassroots, etc. And if that's not me, then that's not me, right?
Yeah.
So Common Suits has a deeper meaning and it's close to my heart, lah. So I will never change that name.
I think you should keep using that name. I think you should keep that whole values that you have with the name. Right? So to our viewers out there, right, now you guys know, right, what does common suit means, right? It's not that common after all. It's a set of values to really drive you to success, right? To make you totally uncommon, right? Just because of that common factors, right? That all of them hold.
Common denominator.
Yeah. So that's it, right? I think back to that. No, when you started off Common Suits, you have no knowledge of tailor at all. Is that right?
Yeah, I have no knowledge in fashion or tailoring.
So how do you learn, over that years? Because you said that you're going to learn on the spot on how they actually measures and all.
I tried to learn. So the word is I tried to. I didn't learn it fully.
Okay.
So after I went back to Singapore, actually, National Library and YouTube were my best teachers back then. So I went to National Library, I flipped through the archives and then see how things are being done. It's a constant exploration stage, a phase of exploration. I also, so the funny thing is a lot of people thought okay, as a fashion brand owner, you probably have a lot of clothes. But in my starting years, actually, I had lesser and lesser clothes because I keep dismantling the best fitting clothes that I like. Then I try to reverse engineer and find out, okay, what put in a spreadsheet, do kind of financial modeling skills that we learn in school, and then we do it use it on.
So you dismantle all your clothes?
Those that fit me very well.
Right. Why do you do that?
So then you can find out the difference, okay, this fits well, why? And then you find out a consistent pattern.
Okay.
Yeah. A pattern as in a relationship between the numbers.
So to our viewers out there, right? I've been to a few, I bumped into Javin in a few wedding shows and all, right? And he was showing us his suit. So today, I actually got Javin to bring down a sample suit, right? To show all of us, right, why common suit is so unique. Because the way that he tailored his suits, right, it's really very, very bespoke. Yeah, so maybe Javin want to share with us,
okay,
how bespoke common suits is.
Okay,
right?
So when we talk about bespoke, right, it actually means that you create a fresh new pattern for the customer, and you take care of all the nuances that the customer has. So nuances, it means whether the person has a left and right uneven shoulder, whether the person has a bit of a slight scoliosis or even a more severe case of scoliosis, that resulted in a uneven appearance or uneven cleanliness in the jacket, and whether the person has a forward tilting hip or more like a perky butt, which is like a backward tilting hip.
Right.
So all this all affect how the garment fall, whether it's running parallel to each other and whether they're perpendicular to the floor. So it's kind of like building a architectural building, right?
Well, I just need to digest here because you caught me, right? I didn't know that, just building a suit has so much knowledge. I've never thought of all these things before.
Yeah, I didn't know it. I didn't know either.
I thought it fits nicely, it looks good and that's it, you're done.
Of course, if it fits nicely, it's very subjective.
Yeah.
Some customers, they'll be a more street style. They're like, I don't like something that's too aggressive. I like something that's more relaxed. That's more my look.
Right.
And some customers will be, I want something that's more aggressive and more close to the body. Yeah. But then beauty is really at the, in the eye of the beholder. But as a professional tailoring house, then we will have to tell them, say there are certain rules that we would want to abide by, such as whether it's parallel to the floor, whether they're perpendicular to each other in terms of the panels. Anything else is more cosmetic, and if it's cosmetic, it's entirely up to the customer's preference. Yeah.
Right. So maybe let's bring up, right, a set sample that Javin has, right, and then let's show to our audience, right, what exactly it means.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me get the jacket first.
Yeah.
So I don't want to bore the audience with too much technicalities, but I'll perhaps share with the audience what is, from this piece of jacket, what is more unique to our brand.
Right.
Firstly, we start with the fabric. So we work very closely with this supplier, this manufacturer called Loro Piana. So Loro Piana is like an old money brand. In recent 2-3 years, the branding just exploded because people were crazy about the old money aesthetic. But they've been this style since so Loro Piana was established about 100 years ago. 100 years ago. And they are part of the LVMH French Maison group.
Wow.
They are also the main supplier for like brands such as Hermes, LV, Dior, Fendi, etc. Yeah, so very high quality brand manufacturer and engine behind the fashion industry. And we're very happy and proud that we are one of the top 5 tailors that's in terms of buying volume in the world.
Top 5?
Yeah.
Wow.
So 2 years ago, not 2 years ago, but 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago when we had the honor of having our 10-year anniversary celebration. So Loro Piana, the VP, came down and was giving a short speech about our collaboration, or rather our relationship. And he did announce it that we're actually the top 5
wow. So ladies and gentlemen, right, Singapore company, Singapore born, right, from a HDB, right now it's an international brand, right, backed by a famous fabric company.
Okay, not bad, sorry. We're just very happy that we're able to.
But yeah, working with them. Because I think not many people are able to have the opportunities nonetheless, right? To be recognized, right, by such a fabric company.
So it's actually, Singapore is quite developed. It's a developed market, right? People can spend, so naturally, Loro Piana has quite a lot of presence with quite a lot of tailors in Singapore.
Right.
But worldwide, they only work with like 1,005 tailors. So imagine the world is so big, right? And then they only work with 1,005 tailors. They're quite because they do have to protect the exclusivity,
the branding, yes,
and the premiumness of that distribution channel.
Definitely.
So they only chose to work with about 1,005 tailors, and I think we are lucky.
And you guys are the top 5.
In terms of volume, yes.
Right, but that speaks volumes itself, you know?
Yeah, we're lucky. Yeah.
Very humble, Javin. Very humble.
No, it's true. I think things just happen at the right timing for us. Okay, so this material over here is made by Loro Piana.
Right.
And
this is the actual Loro Piana.
Correct, you can feel it.
Oh, I need to feel this, man. Oh, wow.
So it feels very soft.
It is.
Yeah. This is actually mostly made of cashmere, 93% cashmere. And when people think of cashmere, they think like, wow, it's very warm. It's more for like winter.
Yeah.
But this is actually a summer cashmere, which is actually quite a iconic piece, because a lot of people will think cashmere can wear in summer. Meh. Right? You can wear in summer, right? But we were here to debunk that.
Okay.
So we actually collaborated and made this unique piece, which is actually not available anywhere except only at Common Suits. If you look at it over here, there's a special.
Wow.
It's actually numbered. Numbered meaning limited pieces. Like perhaps like some car fanatics out there, they'll know. Okay, some Lambo or Ferrari that's like numbered like 1 out of 13 or whatever. So this is actually also one of it. It's just 1 out of 13 pieces in the world.
This is the first piece out of 13. I don't know whether the camera could see it, but yeah.
Yeah. Then it's written over here, Common Suits Bespoke 10-year anniversary. Fabric made in Italy by Loro Piana.
Wow. 1 out of 13. Yeah.
So besides just the fabric that's actually very unique and precious and lightweight, that's suitable for summer, the construction, actually, Tillerson, you can feel it. It's also quite thin. In fact, most bespoke suits are not so thin because the perception of bespoke suit should be, it must be very stiff and structured.
Yes, because we have to, the shoulder,
yes.
the waist and things like that. It must look very firm and nice, crispy.
Correct.
So
that's a preference, yes. But as we progress over the past 10 years, we realized that in Southeast Asia, our weather don't quite permit for that. You can wear it, but most likely it's just indoors. And when you go outdoor, you'll die in a few minutes.
Yes.
Yeah. So we formulated a new canvas construction, which is inside cannot see but you can feel it's actually very like yourself.
Yes, I felt it.
Right, it's very soft and it's very breathable. That combined with the luxurious fabric made by Loro Piana, this two combination made the product a lot more wearable for Southeast Asia's climate.
Right.
And as we mentioned just now, that we're expanding into Jakarta and Bangkok, right?
Yes.
Coupled with our Manila's presence. You realize the narrative is actually quite focused, which is we're going into Southeast Asia, having a product that's suitable for Southeast Asia. That's a unique selling point. Yeah. And what makes us different, this is number one. And from a design perspective, we also use, I don't know if you can see. Maybe you cannot see, but the buttons actually, you can see the outline is in an octagon shape.
Yes, yes.
This is a subtle way of showing the world that this is a made in Singapore product. Because this
Right.
is inspired by a $1 coin.
Wow, I need to bring up close to the camera to show this, but I have no idea how to.
Yeah.
Then later I'll do
Can do
a
some
shot
B-roll lah,
in
maybe
and
B-roll.
B-roll to it.
Yeah.
Wow, oh, that's nice.
So we want to keep the whole subtle, understated flavor of the brand.
Right.
And hence we injected small things like this to showcase this actually
Wow.
Singaporeans, or rather like the community in this area, in our customers in this community will feel proud that a homegrown brand
Yes.
is actually going overseas, and hopefully we'll do our supporters proud lah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what else? Because I remember during the wedding shows, you're showing me that some of the cuttings that most tailor doesn't really covers, right?
I mean, it's not so good to put them down lah. But as in, what can you talk about? What we're unique about?
Yes, please. Because I thought that was very, very good. Because I've been to many tailors, to be very honest, right? And I was, when Javin was showing me, what does common suit does, what are the certain cuttings that they actually look out for. And I was amazed. Right,
Okay.
I had to tell you to bring down this, right, to show us,
Okay, from this is just a model sample, but I think I can share with the audience, like using Talisman as an example.
Sure.
So we can stand up and you have to remove the jacket lah.
Yeah.
So typically in a consultation, we have to first diagnose the body type before even we go into like the measurements.
Okay.
So as you can tell, I don't know if the audience can see, but if you just follow my fingers, right? So your something that's more particular about your body is your left trapezium is actually a little lower than your right side,
Right.
and then your left shoulder
Uh-huh.
is also slightly lower.
Okay.
So when we create a product, the jacket for you, we have to cut the left panel differently from the right side,
Okay.
from the angle perspective. So that it's actually a bit more meticulous than probably what
Most people would do
most
it.
people
lah.
would do.
Yeah, but so why would you want to do that? Because it's to look.
Because the jacket panels may end up slightly different length. Even though we may cut it 100% the same, right? When you wear it, how come you
Because
the
we
left side
jacket
always a bit
up and
lower?
down.
Because the shoulder controls the starting point.
I see.
Yeah. And based on your head to the shoulder ratio, right?
Uh-huh.
I'll definitely recommend something a bit broader. So when it's a bit broader, it actually makes your head smaller.
Right.
Which, if it makes your head smaller, naturally you look more masculine already, ma.
Okay.
Yeah. And of course, from here, we want to create a triangle, inverted triangle down into your waistline.
Okay.
But that one maybe I'll let you try on the jacket.
Sure.
A little tight because it's simple size.
No worries. It's 1 out of 13. I'm more than honored to just try it, man.
How do you feel?
Oh wow, this is very comfortable, by the way.
Very comfortable.
Very comfortable.
Very soft, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, as you can see over here, the shoulder is actually slightly broader
Yeah.
compared to if it's done on your shoulder bone. This is done on the shoulder bone.
Right.
And if we do it slightly wider,
Okay.
your head naturally will look more balanced and smaller.
Right.
So even though this is not your size,
Yes.
you can see that the waistline is actually quite obvious already.
Yes, there's a little V.
There's a triangular
hourglass shape kind of thing.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
will
that
avoid
one I
hourglass because hourglass makes it look more feminine,
Uh-huh.
but we'll try to make it more triangular.
Right.
So
I never had such nice shape there. All my suits are usually
it's a bit more straight cut.
more straight cut.
That's all because your shoulders actually more straight profile.
Okay.
Yeah, which quite hard to explain over
Understood.
without equipment. Okay, let's see. So in this case for him, right, we realized that the button cannot be buttoned up. So what we will do is actually not gonna be. It's okay, don't worry. It's actually not gonna be like expanding the waist blindly.
Okay.
If you do that, right, then you might just end up losing the shape totally.
Right.
What we'll do is actually maintain the shape. We just extend the border.
So extend the fabric.
In a nutshell,
Right.
this is to let the customer know that we will not just compromise on the shape. We just want
Right.
to keep the shape.
Right.
Yeah. And because your shoulder profile is kind of like straight, right? Straight meaning like that. This is quite high.
Uh-huh.
The most common problem is this also. Turn around, you see like they call this a collar roll. That's a little.
You want to show the camera?
No, I think
it-
sideways.
okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Like this is like kind of like bumping up. So with this, if you're not technical enough, right, this is actually gonna be quite difficult to solve. So right from the get go, we must identify all this kind of pain point that we'll be meeting, and so that the end product and the experience actually will be a lot smoother.
Right. Wow. Oh, thank you very much, Javin.
Yeah, if you feel like, right?
Yeah, I feel. Actually, I don't want to take it out already. This is very. This is very comfortable, by the way.
Correct.
It's very soft, very, very comfortable.
Just
Wow.
yeah, that's why it's suitable for Southeast Asia, lah.
Oh, this is very, very good. So ladies and gentlemen out there, right now you understand why common suits, right? As much as the name is, right, they're really top few in the world. Wow, I really don't feel like taking this out, but I think I better take it out in case I damage it or something.
Won't damage.
Wow. Now we are back seated, right? After trying the suit, right, which I really didn't want to take it out. Right. So let's go back to you, Javin.
Yeah.
So I think every entrepreneur, right, does faces challenges, especially, when yours is so unique and bespoke, right? They're definitely harder compared to people who just want to do the norm. So can you share with us some of the roadblocks that you have faced creating Common Man?
Common suits.
Common Man.
So I think from a technical perspective, there's going to be difficulty because the learning curve is actually very steep.
Yes, I can see that because when you're going through that, right, I know that this is usually tailors of 20 over years of experience or more, right? They might not even have that sort of technicalities, right, to identify those. And you, in 10 years or less, in fact, right, you had the kind of vision. Oh, how?
I think staying competitive and never settling for lower standards is something that if you really do want to excel and be a significant player in the market, across our industry, you have to have that in you, lah.
Right.
Yeah, that kind of competitiveness and the desire to really make a change. So yes, it's very steep. It's actually a very long journey to try to improve, and learning to put your ego aside. It's also very important. There'll be customers who will challenge like our technical knowledge, challenge like our level of professionalism, expertise. It can actually, the human instinct or human intuition will just be like, oh, if you don't like me, then it's okay. The door is out there. Which a lot of old school European tailors maybe have that kind of sassiness in them. Yeah, which is quite charming to some. But in Singapore, being a melting pot, we have to know what our culture is like. So putting the ego aside actually in fact invites a lot of help from your customers, from our customers. And I think because of that, they are happy to share their experience with what they've done, perhaps with other much more experienced tailors from overseas, and they're happy to share the products with us, so we could actually, again, do the reverse engineering route. That actually shortens the learning curve by being able to learn and imitate from the best in the world, and then finally find the winning formula for yourself based on your own preference in your direction.
Right. So with that, I think I'm also very, very curious because that is in Singapore itself. And you established that, right, after 5 years with the company before you move out overseas. Yes?
Yeah, correct.
Right. So that was the first roadblock you had. But what about the overseas roadblock? I think it's not that easy, creating a brand new company that's all overseas that maybe in that country no one knows about.
I think starting in a new market, the most daunting thing will always be like, how do I get my first group of customers?
Yes.
And then will I be able to cover my investment?
Yes.
And which partner am I going to partner with? Will they cheat my money? How am I going to know whether the money will really come in and then, the accounts are transparent, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I think this set of questions, right, is actually not pertaining to just about opening overseas. It's about whether even you can open your first business or venture or not. So I would always say, tell like, if I had the opportunity, I always like just share with my friends or people will ask me this thing. I said, if you do want to be an entrepreneur, there's really not much time for you to aim till you get 100% confidence shot before even you fire. A lot of times it has to be, you shoot while you aim. You have to shoot while you aim.
Right.
Yeah, there's not much time for you to just sit down there and really be a sniper and wait for the perfect moment. There's no perfect moment. The best time to start was yesterday. Yeah.
That was perfect. I mean, that was what most entrepreneurs do tell me about, right? You have to shoot, and then after you have to adjust your aim accordingly.
Correct.
Right? And you see how it goes. So when you talk about just now previously and on whether or not the P&L is transparent and things like that, right? Were there any financial struggles, for the matter of fact, or any tough decision, right, that kept you at night because you worried that this might not turn out well, right? Any stories that you can share with us?
I think in terms of the business venture, we were lucky that we were prudent, and as in we exercise and we foresee certain kind of things that could happen if we did not do proper planning. So fundamental issues were laid very well. So we have avoided a lot of those kind of pit holes. Probably the most challenging period was actually just COVID, which I think a lot of entrepreneurs or a lot of businesses actually face that. But we were lucky to actually shift into mask making during that circuit breaker period.
So you all did masks as well?
Yeah, we did masks.
Wow.
And we donated masks to foreign workers because I think there were some outbreaks in dormitory as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think people were supportive. They believe in the quality of our work. And when we sold, a mask that it's not just functions well, but it also looks quite good ergonomically. I had to come up with the design within like 3-4 days.
Wow.
Yeah. So again, starting from nothing, I had never made masks before.
Right.
I never designed a mask before. I had to point a lot of hours and research on what makes a mask look more flattering that actually still keeps our house cut. So it's very weird, right? Where how can a mask be relatable to a suit?
Yes.
A mask is just a mask. So we created a mask that actually contours around the face that actually gives you a more V-shaped expression.
But different people have like different face shapes.
Correct. So
right?
I managed to find like a particular shape that was able to contour quite nicely, and the material that's actually stretchy enough that when you it will mold it will always give you a V-shaped structure. Yeah.
Wow, that's a very powerful mask, man.
But no more already lah.
Damn. I was
No more
saying, we
already.
need to talk this, maybe get 1 or 2 for me, so I keep my V shape always, even wearing a mask.
Yeah. So I'm quite a product person. I realize my passion is in like R&D, in constant innovation, and do things that are different in the market to make people remember you and also really bring value to the market lah.
Right. So actually I want to touch on that later on, right? But back to here, and that's that. Were there any partnership or collaboration that didn't go as planned, and you were like hoping so much for it?
Okay. So before COVID happened, I was also very enthusiastic about opening a store in Thailand. So we registered. No, actually we didn't register, but we blocked the name commerces.th. And it was there for many years. It didn't happen until only like this year. Yeah. So yes, I was a little bit disappointed, but I think everything happened for a good reason. Like I think our production relationship, as in our production capacity and also the supply chain logistic know-how was not as mature yet.
Right.
So it's actually a good thing that we didn't launch it back then. Because we wanted, I think, yes, we took 5 years to really lubricate the whole process with Philippines. It's very long. Could have been a lot shorter. But looking back, I think that was necessary. Yeah, otherwise we wouldn't be able to open up 2 stores at the same time.
Right.
Right now.
Wow.
Yeah. So yes, at that point in time, you might feel dejected, a bit sian. Things are not moving smoothly.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think looking back, it really happened for a good reason.
Right.
Yeah.
So here, I have 2 questions, and I want to focus it on you yourself. So the first question is, you have been doing this for so many years. Have you ever waken up, right, and say that, why am I still in doing this? I should have gone to a corporate job. I should have gone to do something else. No, why am I still here, right, with common suits?
So at the start of my career, entrepreneurship journey, I thought about that very often. My peers who are in investment banking and in financial planning and private banking or like commodities trading, a lot of them in my same batch one were doing a lot better. So I was just drawing like, I think in fact the first year I was drawing less than $1,000 a month. If there's any even salary that could be drawn, that would be that would be bonus really lah. So it's always about paying off your suppliers, whatever first, and you are the last to get paid, ma.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever that's left over on the table, then that's yours. So, I think even for the first 3 years, it was a big struggle. Like being able to draw $1,000 a month was probably the happiest thing already. Yeah, for the first 3 years. So because of that, when you speak to your friends and they share with you their joy and work, like kind of achievement and milestones, it as humans, it naturally makes you feel, then why am I still doing this?
Yes, definitely.
I feel like there's no, sometimes you'll see that there's no light at the end of the tunnel. But then again, it's the guiding principles and the guiding values that why I started the company, right? Like why I even name it Common Suits. I always reroute back to that again.
Right.
So you see, it's perseverance. It's all this kind of resilience, these values that that's shared by the successful people that inspired me. So if I'm not exhibiting that and I'm giving up so easily, then I'm no longer worthy to call this brand Common Suits.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was
that philosophy that kept you going nonetheless always?
Yeah, I think it's also, I'm very close to my grandmother. I'm very close to my mom as well. My mom is a single parent mom. She's very strong. She raised me up alone. My grandmother had 4 kids and she always shared me stories about she had to work like 4 jobs to keep the family alive, waking up at 4 a.m. to 炒米粉.
Wow.
Then go door to door to sell it at 5, 6 a.m. After that, go to people's house to wash clothes. And then, so if my grandma was so strong, I don't think I should be anywhere that's, I think what I was going through was nowhere close to what she went through.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, in this current age, right, we are very focused on, or rather, we are respectful in terms of mental health, right? And I think what you went through was something that's very respectable, right? And you did mention that you brought back your inspiration back to your parents, your grandmother, right? As well as you went back to the values of Common Suits, right? So my question to you here is that I think we have been hearing a lot of people who have mental health issues because they are burnt out and things like that. Any piece of advice for them?
I think everybody's bandwidth is different, and I respect that. It's a really a real issue lah. Happiness probably will still be the priority for everyone. If you find that it's really reaching the limit of your bandwidth, and you're aware of that, I really think that it's only fair that you give yourself a break. It's not fair for me to say, because I have this amount of bandwidth and I feel everybody should just push through just as I did. Because then somebody who was a lot better than me might say that, hey, then you are not doing good enough, right?
Yeah.
So everybody has their own limitation. So there's no really a fixed set of standard that is fair to just broadly assume everybody is applicable to everybody.
Yeah. So I think touching on that additionally, right? I also want to ask one question that I think most of our younger viewers would be very curious to find out. Have you ever felt that you were too young or inexperienced to even start a business?
No leh. I actually don't. I wish I started earlier. I wish I had but then again, looking back, you realize that things happen for a good reason also lah. Yeah. So no, I never felt that I was too young to start it. In fact, I felt that if I were to start it any later, there will be too much risk.
Right.
Yeah, risk such as maybe I'm too comfortable in my job. I'm too comfortable with my relationship, too comfortable with family, and then I don't want to risk it all.
Right.
Yeah, but starting it when you're young, there's a saying that says that time will correct almost everything. Almost, I wouldn't say everything, almost everything. So they'll correct your mistakes, they'll correct the risks that you've taken, and then this is just a general statement. It's not an absolute statement. So if you have time on your side, generally you have a higher probability of actually succeeding. Yeah. So starting young is actually better than starting late now.
Right.
Having said that, there's also cases where people start late, like Kentucky, etc., that succeeded. But if you're young, why wait? And you have a dream, why wait?
Yeah. Well, take the very first step. Right. You never know what will actually transpire after that.
Correct. Yeah.
So now, I mean, Common Suits is now a very recognized name, right? Among the very fabric tailor world, right? To be very honest, right? Now that I'm hearing a lot of all these things, I've seen Common Suits in a lot of events out there, especially weddings. I'm very curious right now. What was that turning point that you've realized that you actually bought Common Suits where it is today now? Because I know you did mention that you were very innovative, right? You went to mass, right? You went through the details of it, right? At which point in your career you realized that, hey, Common Suits, we have more or less made it, we're in the right direction?
Okay, I don't think that we've made it yet. But I have a sense of direction, and I think our direction is largely correct. That point was, I think, when we had a first event in Italy. We were invited by Loro Piana to join the top 40 tailors in the world. And I saw people inspired me in person.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like those, Tom Sweeney, which is like a UK brand, and then basically a lot of like European tailors lah. Yeah, their names are quite difficult to pronounce. But I was rubbing shoulders with them, and I couldn't believe that back then I was just like 6 to 7 years in my career only, and these brands are like legends. I was so shy, and I felt unbelievable. I could actually take a photo with them also.
It's a fanboy moment.
Yeah, it was a fanboy moment. It was definitely a fanboy moment, and that night when I go back to the hotel, when everything starts sinking, and I think, wow, perhaps I'm really doing something that's correct. That I was able to be in the same event as them, had the same share same conversations, and the wavelength is actually similar already.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think let's touch on that now. Okay, because I think you started off, this whole at a very young age. And I think most people will be wondering, right, were there any mentorship that happens?
I think a lot of our mentors are our clients. And being honest to your craft, meaning honest to your mistakes and honest to yourself and to the customers, it actually opens up a lot of opportunity where customers are very willing to help you and give you honest feedback and advice.
Right.
And because of that, those feedbacks became very valuable insights, and that is what made them become our mentor. Our team of craftsmen are also my mentor, like technical mentors. They were very open to changing. They were very open to my crazy suggestions, and which all of them would say, nobody does it like that for the past don't know how many years. Why are you introducing such difficulty into the operations or difficulty in the technical realization? But when we look back, I think the entire team was like very happy, and they said, well, actually, if we have not kept that kind of openness and open-mindedness, we've not kept that spirit of wanting to keep improving in innovating, then we would not have discovered new routes. So yeah, in that sense, because they were very open, they become my mentor as well. Because I would not have been able to execute any of my ideas and vision if not for their openness. Yeah.
So that was mentorship, right? And I know that you have your fanboy moment to all those people that you actually look up to in the industry, right? So I'm curious, who are these people roughly, right? And then how did they actually inspire you, right, to build where Common Suits is today?
So they are basically they're kind of like godfathers of the tailoring scene in their region lah, like from Paris, from Italy, from UK. So it's what inspired, as in what kind of inspiration I've drawn from them. Mostly it's from the technical point of view, at the aesthetic, and then the values that the family tradition actually uphold.
Right.
So these are the things that actually.
Would you say that actually does help you greatly, in building the common suits brand?
Yes, from an aesthetic point of view, they let me know, as in I found out what is a common set of like elements in terms of the, how a jacket should fit, how a pant should fit, that makes it international and makes it like a gold standard that even the president will be happy to wear. Yeah.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen, right? That's where there's a point of reference, and that's where they pull out, right, the winning, I would say formulas, yes, in a way.
You won't know the formula, but you will know what it should look like.
Yeah.
Like, be it if you go to a 5-star hotel, we all know what kind of expectation we should have, right? Because there's really a set of gold standard. So if we all can always achieve, and not achieve, but strive to achieve that gold standard, and one day you really do achieve that, then you have known that you're really in the right direction, you're doing something correct already.
There you go, guys. Javin, the man. Right? So back to your own personal self, right? And I've heard it multiple times, and I really want to touch on this, is the 2 key pillars in your life.
2 key pillars?
Or are there more? I'm unsure.
Oh, you mean my mom and...
Your mom and your grandparents. Yeah. Your grandma, yeah.
Yeah.
How did they inspire you, impact you, right? But you did mention that just now previously, you did say that, they have been doing a lot more, waking up to 炒米粉, fried noodles and all, right? What else did they inspire you? What else, right, did they lead you, right, to where you are? Were there moments, right, where, because maybe you were down, they came out and said, actually, no, you can continue, encouraging moments?
I think from young, right, the greatest gift I've got from them was confidence. They never doubted that in anything that I did or I chose. So that made me a confident kid since young. Yeah. And having that confidence, even though you may not know really you will succeed or not, is, I feel, a very important trait. Because as leaders, sometimes you may look like you know what you're doing. Deep inside, you don't really know 100% what. You don't have 100% probability rate. We're not machines, right?
Yes.
We'll take on certain risks. We'll take bold moves. But I think that confidence that they've empowered me to have was really a gift from them. And even though I was from a single parent family, they never made me feel inadequate at all.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, or not just them, the whole entire family, like my aunties, my uncles, everybody played a big role in my formative years, where they fill in each other's shoes, and I felt very holistic even though when I was young. Yeah. So I think in summary, what I can draw from both my mom and my grandma was really the strength. Yeah, especially from women, right? The tenacity, when facing adversity, they really pull through. They take on multiple jobs. They don't mind the hours, and they are very goal-oriented, which is to make sure the family survive. So it's like they have a very strong do or die mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
So now that, common suits is predominantly male, are you ever thought of moving to the female sector?
Actually, that's a very really a sector that in the future, if we can do, we want to do. But being realistic to the business, we have found our natural market being male, because I always do a lot of R&D on myself. So I always follow the mantra, if I'm not buying my own thing, then I shouldn't be selling it.
Right.
So for women, we're happy to do it. But based on our current strengths, we will still...
need to find that requirements, the niche?
I think we want to expand on our strength first. I think there's still a lot more that we can expand on our strength. and dive deeper vertically into the menswear. And perhaps at the same time, if we find like a partner that I think is also very well versed in female wear, then yeah, that possibility will be ignited lah.
Right. Yeah. So in case you guys are wondering why, right, I'm fumbling because to be very honest, right, I'm still very bewildered by Javin, right? And this is pretty much one of the toughest interview I ever had because I have no clue about fashion and he's teaching me a lot of things about fashion.
No, it's okay. If you put enough time, you'll get there. Just like me.
So I was like, I'm trying to find the right words. Is it a sector? Is it what?
Yeah. It's okay.
So I'm curious now. What's next moving forward for common man? Common suits. See, I keep saying common man because it makes me feel like a common man. Yeah, also, what's next for common suits?
So expanding into regional is the focus for the next 1 or 2 years. Then expanding into ready to wear is something that we want to work on.
Ready to wear? Wow.
As we mentioned just now in the earlier of the podcast, we actually already have like polo tees and t-shirts, and those are made from algorithm, or rather like data we've collected over the past 10 years that's able to bring out the more flattering look for men.
Right.
Yeah, such as like maybe make your bicep a little bit bigger, appear bigger, cover the belly region, make your chest look more well built, shoulders a bit broader, that kind of thing.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah, because it has to revolve around what the brand essence is.
Right.
And since our house cut, the jacket house cut has always been more shapy, more aggressive and flattering. And I hope that we can translate that into our ready to wear too.
Yeah. So as we talk to the future, right, I want to bring you back a little bit to the past, right? So today where you are, right, if I were to turn back time and you go back to your 20s, right, 2 weeks after you finish your exams and you incorporate the company, what is one thing, right, that you hope that you have known, right, and we have done it very differently?
Actually, I hope that I don't know so much.
What do you mean?
If you know too much, sometimes you will feel more fear and to take the first step.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, there are certain things that you hope that you know, but if you know it, then maybe it would have been too daunting. Yeah.
So with that, I think when you say that we know too much, should be a bit too daunting. But isn't that where passion helps to drive that success factor?
It's true lah, but we are all made of like left and right brain ma. So if you know too much, then your logical mind will kick in and say like, actually this one, maybe the ROI not so worth it because what are the chances of succeeding? Very low based on statistics, blah, 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 blah. Like, nobody really like can make it that far yet.
Right.
Yeah.
So with that, right, I'm very curious also, what do you think, right, are some of the most common misconceptions that young people has about entrepreneurship?
I mean, I don't really have experience with budding entrepreneurs interactions. My circle of friends so far have been people who are a lot more successful than me lah.
Don't say that you are actually very successful.
No,
very humble,
it's true. So, but if I would say common trait would be resilience lah. And they are very quick on their feet to adapt. I think so Jack Ma said this, right? Like when he doesn't really know also where Alibaba is gonna he doesn't know how Alibaba is gonna be operating, but he knows the direction. So he said 方向大致正确. That's the most important thing.
方向大致正确.
Yeah.
So
that means your direction agak correct can already.
As long as the direction is mostly likely going to be that way, and then that's fine.
In between, you just keep tweaking.
Right.
Yeah.
It's exactly as your same philosophy as you mentioned previously.
Yeah. So that is really the common trait I see in a lot of my friends who are entrepreneurs.
Yeah. What about habits or routines? Do you have any? Does it help you?
To be honest, right, I tried cultivating good habits lah, such as waking up early at 5, joining a 5 a.m. club. But I'll be frank to the audience, I failed. But that's a real me, right?
Yes.
So But during that period when I tried, it was actually really good. Like, I felt a lot more productive in the morning. Mind was a lot clearer. So I think there's still a lot more good habits I need to cultivate.
Right.
So I don't think that I'm successful enough to share habits that can be very impactful. But okay, maybe I can share what worked for me.
Oh, yes, please.
You have to clear out whatever that's due for today, right? You have to clear it no matter what. Don't wait till tomorrow. Because by the time you wait till tomorrow, there'll be new things that's going to start piling on your plate. So procrastination is something that that really is not going to... It's actually very detrimental. A lot more detrimental than you think it is.
Right.
So simple things such as like keying something in your calendar, etc. This can be very detrimental down the road if you don't do it. Simple things like that.
Right. So over here, I'm also very curious, right? You see, you mentioned that there are some habits that you hope to achieve. What are those?
Like sleeping early is something that I really hope that I can do.
Sleeping early?
Yeah. Okay, so the most important resource for us is actually, I mean, it's very cliche, but the health.
Okay.
Without health, you really don't have anything really.
Right.
So I think sleeping early, exercising more regularly, that's something that I really want to work on. And I hope that I can, not hope but I must work on.
Yeah. So over here, I'm curious again, okay, because as you say that you hope to sleep early and you want to exercise regularly, right? You couldn't do it is because of work, or is it just your own?
So whatever I can tell you right now is definitely going to be an excuse.
No, but I'm curious because I think when we talk about entrepreneurship, most of my guests here, they did mention that they did mention the same thing. They hope to have more sleep, right? They want to have more rest. They want to exercise a bit more regularly, right? So I have two spectrum. The first spectrum is people who say that actually they have already scheduled everything in. And that spectrum, right, is that I have no time because I need to have the time to make sure that my business is floating, right? I have other mouths to feed. They all depend on me.
Correct.
Yeah, so I'm curious, where are you standing?
I think I'm definitely in a much better place now compared to 6 months ago. So there is a book that Rachel from Love Bonito actually shared with me. It's about buying your time.
Right.
Yeah. So you find out what are the more important things that you have to do that's only you can do one. And you list out those things that are important but don't need you to do. Basically drawing a quadrant.
Yes.
Yeah. Then from there you find people who are suitable to actually take on those tasks that don't need you to do. And there's also quadrant that are not important and don't need you to do one. Yeah. So and then you calculate what's your hourly rate. Like personally, what's your hourly rate? For example, if you're drawing like $5,000 a month or whatever amount, right? Then you divide by number of hours. And if you can hire somebody who's actually lower than your hourly rate, then you can actually delegate that thing away.
Right.
Yeah. Then in the end, so that book actually touched on a point that was very relevant. It's a lot of entrepreneurs has this superhero symptom, which I must do everything.
Yes.
Which I admit I am like that also.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the person that knows how to do everything the best.
And you want to be hands-on for everything, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that has a huge strain on a lot of things, like your friendship, your relationship with your friend, your loved ones, as your partner, your wife, or your husband, and then also your family.
Yes.
None of them have enough or have any time to see you at all.
Yeah.
And then you have to reflect, right? And then is it really worth living your life like this or not?
Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, our first role in the world is being a human. Then you'll be whatever your entrepreneur or your, if you're artist, you're artist. If you're engineer, you're engineer.
Yeah.
The first role is still going to be human first, ma.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, with that, do you still remember that book? What's the title of the book?
Yeah, it's Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen out there, right? So if I'm very curious of what that book is, right? Javin has told us, right? It's called Buy Back Your Time, right? By Dan Martell. Go and search it up, right? Maybe that book can also help you. Yeah. So now over here, I want to ask a little bit more in depth on certain things, right? Is you did mention about resilience in terms of entrepreneurship, right? And of course, you did mention multiple times that you are very innovative, right? You like to innovate, and then that's probably keep you ahead of your competitors. what other skills do you think that an entrepreneur should have?
Maybe I can only speak about for myself lah. Yeah,
Please.
not about like other entrepreneurs. I think willing to put in a hard work and not be so calculative about the ROI is actually very important. At the start. Because when we're too calculative about every move, like, okay, whether I do this, it's going to make me any profit or not. A lot of times, you're making things based on P&L rather than what value you're creating for the other part, your customer. So in the past, when I was making products that are not good enough, I always volunteered to remake at a loss. And at the end of the day, these customers who saw my actions and gave me a second chance, because they said, at the end of the day, they told me, because you proactively recognize your effort and you were honest with like, your wrongdoings and you want to right it. And that's what made me believe that this person is somebody that I can trust in for long term. Yeah. So it becomes a character issue. It is no longer about the P&L, no longer about your the product. So I think that was really what allowed me to establish deeper connection with my customers.
Wow. So I think in all my shows, right, and I'll ask all my guests here, right, if there's one word that you would give to all inspiring young entrepreneurs, what would that word be and why?
I think that would be perseverance.
Perseverance?
It's very cliche, but if I only have one word, I would still stick to perseverance. I think a lot of people, when they're doing their business, right, they didn't know that actually they are very close to
success.
The success or even break even. Like if imagine I have actually stopped my thing perhaps like just 1 month before my 3rd year mark, then I really probably would have gone back to a corporate job already, and I would not be able to reach where I am right now, right?
Right.
Sometimes you really have to go through and plow through the hours. Or in fact, not sometimes. I think all the time, most of the time, you go through what you're meant to go through. Be it like 3 years or like 10,000 hours. Then you start to see there's a shift in your progress.
Right.
A lot of times the ground we are doing is actually like a tree. The roots are all growing very deeply down into the earth before you can see the stem start coming up, the trunk start coming up. Yeah.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Perseverance is the word, right? So before we end off the whole show, right, Javin, maybe I would like you to focus your onto the camera over there, right? And maybe you can leave any advice or last few words, right, you would like to say to all the young entrepreneurs out there.
I think it will still be the word perseverance. There's this. I really like this Chinese quote from Jack Ma. In Mandarin it says, 昨天很残酷，今天更残酷，可是
Okay.
明天很美好，很多人都死在今天晚上。
That's very interesting. Okay.
So in English it means yesterday was cruel, today is even more cruel, but tomorrow is gonna be beautiful. But a lot of entrepreneurs die tonight. So if you persevere long enough, you might just really see the sunshine tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Javin. That was
problem.
a very awesome quote. I've never heard that quote before, but wow, that gets me thinking.
Yeah.
Hi guys, thank you for listening. If you like what you have just heard, follow us for more content like this.